I know there were people that had to have therapy sessions over Trump winning. I know family members that were crying because Trump won. So it's pretty divisive.
Now, a number of people who Donald Trump has nominated for senior positions in his administration and White House staff have been targeted with bomb threats, according to the president-elect's spokeswoman. The targets have not been named, but they're reported to include Pete Hegseth, his nominee for Defense Secretary, Elise Stefanik, his incoming ambassador to the UN, and John Ratcliffe, his choice to lead the CIA. A bomb squad is also said to have been sent to the home of Matt Gaetz, Trump's first choice for Attorney General. He withdrew from consideration for the post last week. Hal Lambert is a Republican mega donor and a former finance chair of the Texas Republican Party, and he served on Trump's previous inaugural committee. Good evening to you, Hal.
Good evening.
What do you make of these reports of bomb threats to senior figures around Donald Trump?
Yeah, I mean, it's really disappointing and disturbing, and we'll find out who it is. I assume they'll catch them, but it's likely someone from the left politically because they're targeting obviously Republican appointees. It goes right back to the rhetoric, which is, I think, not helpful and damaging when you say that someone is a threat to democracy over and over and over again. Now they're going to go after his appointees because they obviously would view them as a threat to democracy too. So it's disappointing, but it's not all in all surprising.
Yeah, and of course, we did have some discussions along these lines after Donald Trump, during the election campaign, faced two threats on his life, both of which, of course, he got through and is now on his way to the White House. Do you think, though, that perhaps it is a sign of just the scale of the divisions that there are within United States society after the election campaign? The victory for the Republicans was more convincing than many people expected, but it is a very divided society, isn't it, the United States?
It is. I mean, I think the divisions maybe and not as much in the middle, but when you get to the extreme, the divisions are there. And I know there were people that had to have therapy sessions over Trump winning. I know family members that were crying because Trump won. So it's pretty divisive. And you read about, some people are not going to celebrate Thanksgiving together, family members, because of the division. So hopefully that'll change over the next couple of years as Trump is in there, and the predictions of him being this horrible person don't come true. Hopefully that will, subside and things can get a little bit more back on track as far as unity.
Yeah, the FBI is saying tonight that it was aware of numerous bomb threats as well as swatting incidents in which hoax calls are made to attract a police response to the target's home. And these are all being investigated. And Trump's spokeswoman is saying that all of this is being investigated and that law enforcement have acted quickly to ensure the safety of all those who appear to have been targeted in all of this. What do you make of the lineup that we are seeing for Donald Trump's incoming administration? There's been quite a bit of controversy around several of them. Matt Gaetz has had to drop out. But what do you think we should read overall into the appointments that we have so far?
Well, I think you should read that there is going to be change. I mean, he is putting people in place that are not going to just be bureaucrats and go down the status quo line. The people that he's putting in place look to be the type of people, based on what they've said, that will shake things up and try to change these big bureaucracies from within. So I think you could see that. And interestingly, Donald Trump's polling after the election, he's up 6 points. So he's at a very high level historically for him. He's over 53% approval rating after these appointments have started coming out. And Joe Biden's has dropped. So he's at pretty much record lows. I think he's about 36% approval rating. So the Democrats have got a real problem, and they're kind of in the wilderness. I don't see who their leader is, and we'll see who tries to emerge from it. But right now, Trump is he's got high approval ratings. He's putting people in place, and I think it's kind of a little bit in what the term in the United States they call it inside baseball, where the people that are in Washington, the people that are paying a lot of attention to politics, they're very focused on these appointees. Certainly corporations are when they're focused on the treasury, who he's putting in treasury, who's putting in commerce. Those selections, I think, have been very good. People are very happy with those in the industry. And so the average person is not going to keep up with that. And so I don't think who he's putting in there for the average voter is going to change their opinion of Trump. It's more about those that are really paying attention, that are watching this. Gates was obviously controversial. He's not in there anymore. But the rest of his appointees, with the Senate the way it is, I suspect they will get through. They can lose 3 Republican votes and still get these appointees through. And it looks to me like the rest of these are probably going to get through.
We're seeing reports tonight here that Britain's deal to hand over the Chagos Islands to Mauritius appears to be on the brink of collapse. And of course, Donald Trump's likely Secretary of State is one of those who has criticized the deal. Marco Rubio saying that this could provide an opportunity for communist China to gain valuable intelligence on our naval support facility, talking, of course, about the US base on Diego Garcia. Do you think that Donald Trump and his team will try to scupper this deal to hand over the Chagos Islands?
Well, with Marco Rubio making that comment, and he's going to be the Secretary of State, they've certainly that certainly would have been cleared with Trump before that came out. So that looks to be like something they may look to do. Look, China's a big threat to the whole region and the world, and so they are very focused on what China's intentions are and where they're headed with these different islands. As we all know, they're constructing their own islands in areas in the Pacific. So it's very important that these islands that are strategic do not fall under any kind of Chinese control or threat.
Do you think then that the incoming Trump administration is right to try and put pressure on Britain to unravel this deal?
I tend to not comment too heavily on international things just because, and I don't think people should that don't have security clearance and aren't in the room, so to speak, right? I mean, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and so it's difficult to say. But I would assume that they're in an active dialogue with the United Kingdom on this, and that they're going to try to work together on it versus kind of in an adversarial role. But I think I have confidence in Senator Marco Rubio, who will soon to be, Secretary Rubio, and I have confidence in Trump that they're going to do what they think is right for both of us and the world.
Hal Lambert, Republican mega donor, former finance chair of the Texas Republican Party, also former member of Trump's inaugural committee. It's great to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.